Hey, sanibonani, ninjani, ngiyaphila. My name is Vusi Mhlaba. Today I want to talk about that labor is at the center of the struggle. Labor is at the center of the struggle. So we mean that in this fashion, that what makes labor is in the center of the struggle. Because remember that first, as South African or Africa, we were colonized by European, where our people were turned into slaves. What were slaves doing? They were providing labor by force, but the relationship that was there was the forced employment, where a person did not choose to work for that person or to do that type of work, and that form of work which was categorized as slavery. And what was happening to the slaves at that time? They were whatever they were doing, there were no form of a return to them, except that the only thing that they were receiving was a place to sleep, food, and the food that will only allow them to carry on their duties as the master wants them, a colonizer wants them to do. So, but let's look at these good people. Why Europeans colonized us and subjected us to slave? What was the purpose? What was the objective? Or what was it that they wanted to gain? So because a human being has a needs, and the need, once it has satisfied it, it creates another need. So needs are, that's why they are limited. They are unlimited because the need creates another need, same as wants. So the colonizers wanted means to satisfy their needs, but in the process of having those things to satisfy those needs, they wanted people to do the dirty job for them. And then they colonized us and converted our people to slave. So from that type of employment or engagement, and then it evolves, where now the employment now evolved to a particular a nature now, where now the master is providing uh, the worker with a place which is better than the place that was provided to slaves, provide food that is better than the food that was given to slave during the slavery. You can take the example of the farm workers now, where the farmer now feeds even the baby of the worker, but the children of that worker will also work in the farm of that um, land thief, if it's a land thief. So we had that type of employment, which was called a paternal employee relationship, because now the worker is dependent to the master in everything. Master is buying food, buying clothes for him, gives him grocery for his family or her family. So the employment evolved as the time we're moving, and then we move to another type, which is a servant as a master. Up to now we have employee relations, employment, where now we have employer and employee. But good people, if we look at this thing, in fact, they are the same. Because what if you analyze, why now employees are paid money? Now, employers decided to pay money because they were shifting the burden they were carrying to maintain this person. And then now they substituted that now by giving the employee money, so that the employee now will take care of himself or herself. But now look what is happening. This employer has got a shop, for an example. You are paid, but you buy from that shop as well. Go to any shops, Kentucky, whatever, wherever, even restaurants, employees are not allowed during a lunch to just take food and eat. They must carry their own food. If they don't carry their own food, they must buy it. They buy from the shop of the employer that they work for. So where they get the money to buy food, they get it from this employer, and they take it back to this employer when they want something to eat. So therefore, with that, I'm trying to amplify the point that labor is at the center of the struggle. Whatever we are doing, at the end of the day, each and every one of us wants to satisfy the needs and wants. But unfortunately, as things were evolving, we moved away from barter system, and where now we are using the means of exchange, which is money. So whether you are a policeman, whether you are educated, everything that we are doing, the objective is to secure money to satisfy our needs and wants. Now, so that's why labor is at the center of the struggle. Let's take another example. When in 1870 something in South Africa, when they discover gold, in diamond in Kimberley, uh, because already our country was taken, was stolen by the whites. So they immigrated the British white people, purporting that they are the one who has a skill of mining. But on the same verge, they needed a spade work. They needed a dirty work. And who are going to be paid cheap. Why they did that? Because they wanted to have to secure means to satisfy their wants. But the nature of process demands you to have other people before you can have the ultimate or the finished product that you can consume to satisfy your needs. So there is a process. So in that process, because there was a need for people who will do dirty work, or let me say the unskilled work. Now, that's why if you can read these literatures, labor literatures that will give you the history of employment. Now, white people forced black people to go to work. Black people did not want to work because black people were used to having farms, they were plowing, they were having goats, they were having cows, fruits, vegetable, something that others came from nature. So white people forced us to go to work. They forced that in those years in number of ways. Firstly, they made sure that they strip us land so that we cannot be able to have chickens, to have cows, to have goats, to have sheep. They strip us of land so that we cannot plow to feed our families. And they even promulgated laws that will not allow a black person, to have a place to do farming. If you read, you'll go, because people were resisting, because at that time the employment place that was there, it was the mines that were discovered in Kimberley and in Johannesburg, where Johannesburg they find gold, discovered gold. So because people were resisting to work, they promulgated many laws. Some of the laws was called a poll tax, where they say you pay kwakuthiwa imali ekhanda kuthina abantu abamnyama. Uma utholakala ungayikhokhile le mali uyaboshwa. Why? They were forcing people to go and work because ungeke uthathe ithanga utshala amathanga bese uyokhokhela ngawo i-poll tax. You were forced ukuthi you must get work so that uzothola imali ukuze ukwazi ukhokhela imali ekhanda. Khona uzokwazi ukuhamba ukhululeke ke kwi-country of birth yakho, in your own country, by white settlers creating such situation. So there are many things, comrade. You remember we talk of a 1913 Land Act, where people were forcefully removed from economic zone to zones which were were seen not to be economical, like people were removed by force from Umkhumbane and were spread to Wamashu, Umlazi. In Johannesburg, people were moved from Sophia Town. They were moved to Soweto, where they thought people cannot be active because the only thing people were forced to be workers. They were forcing people to be workers. That is why sometimes if we go back to all this history, in fact, we should not be allowing white people to open businesses in our township, because we are here in Wamashi, in Umlazi, not by our choice. So I was very happy today when I was watching Facebook. I saw group of people were attempting to take stuff from a truck of Checkers, because you are a white person, you remove that from the economic zone, you moved that to township, now you are coming to us again. We are working for them. They are bringing shops in our townships, so we go and work for them in town. We come back in township, we buy from their shop again. So which means money is always going back to them. There is no money coming to us. And therefore, comrade, that's why at the end of the day, comrade, because we are saying now, whatever we are doing, we are forming a political party, we are forming a soccer team, at the end of the day, everyone wants to have the means of exchange so that you will be able to satisfy your needs. And I'm saying the needs are compounding. You satisfy these needs, it creates another need. You satisfy this one, it creates another one. You also have wants. So those who have done some human resource management, they will know the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And what is it that satisfies a person most? Is not to have food, but is a self-esteem. So therefore, comrade, that is why I'm saying in my journey to stop and think, at the end of the day, we all want money. Even if we are voting for your party. But at the end of the day, we are voting for your party so that your party will be able to make you to be able to get the means of exchange, so that you will then be able to satisfy your needs and wants. That is why then we are saying, why is the buying power of our money is deteriorating every day, every hour? And we need to answer that question. And then we go to what to do. Because if you don't have money now, your number of years you sat on a desk, sweating, studying, sacrificing, but if you don't get a substantive means of exchange, and you become frustrated, that will lead you to engage to other businesses which are not within the public policy. So that is how the issue of money I'm bringing in here, and to say Labor is at the center of the struggle. Whatever we are doing, we are struggling to have means to satisfy our needs. That is the ultimate objective. And which, if this thing is not done, it's then create these other things which are unacceptable to the society. Killing of one another, hating one another, doing whatever we are doing. So therefore now, comrade, we are going to look at now why the buying power of our money is not improving in 29 years. But before we go there, in the next presentation, we'll start by looking at the, I think it is it's the second phase of employment, where how National Party came into power and who brought it into power and why was it brought into power, and did National Party fulfill the mandate of the people who put it in power. So we would like to deal with that one in the next presentation. I thank you.